Hello, welcome. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that this provides you some form of understanding or answers to what may be going on for you this month. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Aries for the month of April of 2023. I'm going to be starting off with dice and then moving to astrology cards and tarot after that. So let's get started. Interesting. Double whammy. So you guys got 5 and 5, brings it 10. So this could be an ending to challenges this month, or there may be challenges that present themselves that could potentially be around wrapping something up. Either way, I think that there's going to be a lot of energy that's going to be, I almost want to say, expended towards this. So maybe this might be like climbing up a hill. But I feel like a lot of it has to do with progress. So whatever challenges you're facing, just know that you can overcome them and you probably will experience some form of progress or find new ways to find solutions. So let's get it started. I'm going to pull one more. There we go. All right, Mars. There is your ruling planet. Okay, so the cards we have this month are Chiron, which is appropriate because Chiron is in Aries right now. I also believe Mercury is in your sign as well. So we've got Mercury, and then we have Mars. Now, Mars just moved into Cancer. So there is going to be, maybe a little tension there simply because technically Mars would be squaring you in this experience, which may be where the 5 comes in. Maybe that's the challenge. Maybe there's a need to emotionally communicate around something or emotionally communicate with yourself better, or maybe even intellectually understanding your own emotions. And I feel like with Chiron and Mercury here, that kind of doubles down on that, because I really think that at the heart of the matter with this, I think what the challenge is all about is maybe something challenging you, or maybe something creating this internalized conflict that you really need to step back and understand before initiating any form of action. I also just realized that the cards add up to the number 70, so that would be a 7. So progress. I think that real progress can be made this month. Now, with that being said, let's get started on tarot and let's see what's going on. Yeah, I think Mars in Cancer is going to kind of be, I don't want to say like messing with you guys, but I think it's going to be creating some challenges there. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Chariot. So like I said, I feel like with the Chariot being ruled by Cancer, I feel like this Mars and Cancer energy, whatever challenges it presents to you, or whatever conflict it brings to the surface, I feel like a lot of this has to do with providing you with a very particular form of gas or a very particular form of energy to really help you make progress in your life in some way, whether that is on your emotional journey, psychological, physical, business, life path. I think that there's a lot going on here that's really going to provide you with forward momentum. It's also important to note that this month starts your eclipse season. So we are going to have an eclipse this month in your sign. I believe it's towards the end of the month where it's actually going to be hitting the sun. The North Node is also moving into your sign. So there's going to be a lot of heightened focus around really being pushed towards the direction that you're meant to go in this life. And the doors can open around that in big ways. Maybe they'll seem like small openings, but I feel like maybe the challenge here is going to be dealing with that South Node stuff. Maybe this is where the conflict comes up, where the conflict arises. We are starting off with the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Five of Swords underneath that. So I do feel like if you are experiencing any resistance this month, or if you are experiencing any challenges, I feel like you really need to learn and understand how to communicate what it is that you're feeling, or how to deal with maybe this emotional damage. That's kind of what I want to say it as. I want to refer to it as emotional damage, because the Five of Swords is usually about repressed energy. It's repressed pain. It is repressed anger. It's repressed frustration. It is us holding on to something from the past, because that character in the Five of Swords is holding on to Three of the Swords, which pulls us back to that Three of Swords card. And it's not really being able to let go of something. Also, keep in mind that you can flip the roles on this if you feel like this is pertaining to someone else in your life and not necessarily you. It just feels like there's so much around being confused as to why something isn't happening either in the way you'd like it to, or why something keeps coming up. Because I feel like there's something here where it's like trying to break free from something but you can't, which is an illusion, by the way, and we'll get to why. Or trying to overcome a challenge but you can't, which also is an illusion. And that's where this frustration lies. I feel like some of your deepest wounds are kind of coming to the surface, and some of the parts of yourself that you really are trying to understand more, or understand why particular things keep happening. One moment, I'm sorry about that. Why certain things keep happening. And I feel like you're getting a lot of clarity on this. Like, I think the emotional journey you've been on with that Chiron there really has been encouraging you to understand the depth and origin of your emotions, and how can you appropriately use them moving forward, instead of kind of allowing them to create this discord within yourself, or this discord within particular situations. Because that's the other thing too, right? Fire energy is going to be passionate. So anything it feels, it's going to feel it very deeply, and it's going to want to exercise that passion outwardly. So when it speaks with a lot of intention that usually draws attention. And I feel like, or it could create tension. So I feel like there's this acknowledgement on maybe learning how to speak, maybe learning how to express yourself emotionally, maybe learning how to, or maybe what emotions to use when it comes to sorting through things, right? Like, sometimes we need to step back and allow our anger to dissipate before we make decisions, because often anger at times can make us really fly off the handle, and we end up being very like cutthroat or definitive in certain ways, when really we just need to take a step back and find a way to calmly express ourselves, or calmly express really what the bottom line is within something, and communicate it that way. The next cards that we have are the Queen of Cups with the Seven of Cups in reverse. I do feel like I was saying, with this like tension or this challenge coming to the surface, and maybe energy level wise you're not feeling so great. I do feel like this is going to be a month where you really tend to yourself. I do feel like it's going to become clear to you that all the other moving parts in your life aren't really worth much if you aren't taking care of yourself, or if you aren't utilizing the tools that you can have at your disposal, or maybe even people who can help you in this manner. Because it does feel like you're getting very, very clear on something emotionally. Now, the only issue here that really stands out to me is going to be this Devil card. Because underneath that, we have the Knight of Wands. So I feel like it's almost as if all of the all of the momentum that you usually gain around finding emotional clarity, or as you've been working through this stuff, you may have very particular people, places, or things that pop up in your life that at one point in time held a lot of power over you, or maybe you felt more controlled by it than in control of it. And it just feels like it's this repetitive situation or this repetitive circumstance that keeps coming back around. But I feel like it's really pushing you to address this. So once again, this repressed energy, maybe it is repressed anger. Maybe there is something that you need to figure out within that. Maybe you've never been able to fully process this anger that you hold on to, or fully process this uh, this deeper energy of feeling betrayed, or this deeper energy of feeling taken advantage of or looked over. Maybe you've really never fully processed it. And so in this time period, I think you're learning how to do that and utilize healthy anger in order to find these solutions. Because at the end of the day, with the Emperor at the end of this and the Page of Cups, I think what's happening is you are reinventing ways to allow all of this stuff, all of these like origin feelings, to empower you to really step into that Aries energy, because the Emperor is ruled by Aries. But really step into that energy and take control of the situation, or take control of yourself, or take control of the direction in your life. And I think you're finding better ways to communicate. I really do. There is a way to be direct without being destructive. There is a way to set a boundary without cutting something off entirely. Or if you need to cut it off entirely, cut it off, right? Only you are going to know what's best for you. But I think this is about understanding that you can both be this curious, inquisitive, kind of like open child in some ways internally, and on the outside still be this very like functioning, responsible character. Both of those things can coincide and they can exist. For some of you, there's a person who wants to come in and apologize for something. Um, I want you to be careful of this though, because I feel like some of this could be a power play, or this could be a situation that maybe once had a lot of control over you and was very unhealthy for you. And it could have been an energy that came in and out of your life a lot. For some of you, this may have only been like sex related. For others of you, this could have been addiction related. For, a couple others of you, this could have been in regards to a particular father figure. And while I do think that there's elements here of someone taking responsibility and doing things in a way that they're trying to slowly move towards expressing this or taking responsibility for it or accountability for it, I still think you need to be careful, especially if there are parts of you that still feel, for lack of a better word, triggered by this experience. Once again, the choice is always yours. But I think at the end of the day, confronting this and dealing with it, and getting to the heart of the matter within the thing ultimately really does help you move forward. I also think there could be some fear here around the changes that are going to be taking place for you, because I think you can feel it. It's almost like you're waiting for it or you're anticipating it. And I think that that could in itself become very turbulent internally for you. So watch that. Whatever healing modalities you can use, whether that is traditional therapy, whether it is non-traditional therapy, Reiki, swimming, getting in large bodies of water, getting in small bodies of water, just putting your feet in the water, sitting by water. Like there's something here about really having to tap into the more watery elements. Even if it's challenging, it is something that needs to be somewhat integrated, because I think that there's a need to find ways to calm and soothe yourself. Maybe you're needing to express yourself in a different way. So it could be artistically, whether that is through music, art, dance. But I think you're finding your way, and I think that's the whole point here. So if April for you feels challenging and it feels like things are really like becoming combative, or it feels like you're experiencing a lot of this push and pull energy, just understand that it's because you have these new doors opening up for you, or you have these new opportunities that are going to be made available to you this year that you really can utilize in order to go in the direction that you're meant to go in, but it's going to require you to let some things go. So with there being this like pent up energy, some of this can be like ancient in some ways. Some of it can be from childhood. For some of you, it could be something that happened last year, or it happened 3 years ago, or it happened 5 years ago, or it happened last week. But there's this connecting thread in it all, and I feel like this stuff coming to the surface is really attempting to be kind of purified in some way, so that you don't have that holding you back as you move forward. Really having to let go of particular things in favor of achieving this new aspect of being, or this new physical experience of yourself. Because, like I said, some of this could really be physical. Maybe you're changing the way that you look, maybe you're changing the way that you show up in the world, maybe you're changing the way that you communicate, or the way that you initiate particular things. I actually even feel like the way you stand is different, or it's going to be different. Like you're going to start realizing that the way that you hold your posture is very different. So for some of you, maybe you've had some experiences where you found yourself more internalized, or feeling as if you don't stand up and open and face forward. Maybe you have a tendency to stand sideways, or like cross your arms, or have a way where you're not really allowing yourself to appear immovable or open. Let's see the overall outcome for April for you. Six of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. So I do feel like there's going to be a tally kept here this month. I almost feel like the way that you're perceiving this is like who shows up for you and why, or who shows up for you and what is it that they're giving to you. Who shows up for you, and how are they providing you with a particular resource. There may even be some sort of I don't know. I feel like somebody owes you something. And I almost feel like with the Hanged Man there's a part of you that feels like you can't move on until whatever is owed is paid. This doesn't have to be literal. This can be metaphorical. Very spiritual month for you, though. I mean, I feel like you're kind of being put into a position to open up this month with that Hanged Man there. Even though the Hanged Man is kind of I don't want to say it's a neutral card, but it is. Like, it's this card where one's thoughts, feelings, and perceptions are expanding. But at the same time, there can be confusion there. But I don't think there's going to be confusion here. If anything, I think you truly are kind of being cracked open. To me, there's a bit of like a cocoon to butterfly metamorphosis thing happening here. Which is beautiful, because that's what an eclipse season will do. It's really helping you like open up and expand and understand things differently and see things differently, and really be able to go in the direction of your soul's own evolution in this life. So I'm very stoked for you guys. I even though there's challenge here, like I think that ultimately this is going to be very good. I feel like with things like this or with fives in general, it doesn't always feel very good. And, sometimes the challenges themselves can be daunting, but I think what comes out of it and what you can utilize out of it ends up being much more than you can even imagine or anticipate. It usually isn't until the dust settles that particular things are revealed where you sit back and you go, oh, that's why that had to happen. I'm so glad that happened. I wouldn't have learned X, Y, and Z, or I wouldn't have had this other experience over here had that not happened. So stay open this month. If you feel very challenged, make sure you're taking care of yourself, especially health wise. Um, look after your body, nourish your soul, nourish your emotional body, and take time. I don't see very quick movement here. I don't see, at least not on your end, I don't see quick movement. Um, I definitely see a much more slower, methodical pace and really kind of just uh, attempting to be open and receptive to seeing what is going to show up for you this month. And I think that's wise because I feel like the things that are shifting around for you, there's not much control you have over it anyway. So have a good month, and I'll see you guys next time.